Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with the third layout using the January kit. This is the third layout using this kit, and this is the third time that I tried to do the voiceover. Just started, and then one time I sneezed and the other time I couldn't even think of the word for the background paper, so I just started because I was at the beginning. But I'm just showing you some of the products that I might be using, and at this point, um, I don't know. I don't know if I was I don't know. I just wasn't. I wanted to scrapbook, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. And normally when I sit down or stand up, I scrap standing up. But I don't know where I'm going to go. I never plan anything. I just kind of pick up the stuff, and, sometimes I'll know as far as, I want to do strips, or I want to use dyes, or you know like little things like that. But I don't know. I don't have, like, some people say they have a visual thing in their head what they want to do. Not at all. I just sit down and I start going, and then I go, oh, that would look good if I did that, or if I did this, or it just kind of comes upon me, I guess, as I'm scrapping. And so this time, for some reason, when I started, like, there was nothing. The Nothing, no inspiration. I think I even had, all the pattern papers and the die cuts and all that stuff picked out for a couple of days before I could just, go and scrap it, because I don't know. And I wanted to scrap. I ended up instead, you know, going, because I love being in my scrap room. So cleaning up my scrap area, figuring out other things that I could do for, organizing and that kind of stuff. But scrapping, I just couldn't do it. And so what I decided was, if nothing fails, I wanted to use my scraps. I had a bunch of scrap. This was the third layout, so I had cut into a bunch of pattern papers. So what I decided to do was, if there was like piece of pattern papers left, I tried to use it um, in that size, like the blue pattern paper with the flowers. Well, I just cut, there was a piece cut out of that, so I just cut it down so that it would fit, above the photo up to the other teal paper. And then this one here, I just thought, well, I'll just make it fit so that it fits beside the photo down to the rest of the pattern paper. And then this one here. So usually when I do block paper, block patterns, or block patterns, I literally have scraps, like little pieces of pattern paper, and I make like a puzzle, on the page. So there's a whole lot more different little pieces and colors. But this time around, I wanted to use the blocks in a bigger form, I guess, because my pattern paper was bigger. So what I decided to do was, I mounted one of the two, I cut down one of the photos. I guess I cut down both photos. One of them is about 4.5, and then the other one is about, I'd say, 2.5. And I just made the photos so that it would fit on that Dear Lizzie Serendipity pattern paper. And it's just aqua with teal words. And so I just cut down the photos so that they would fit on that perfectly. And then now there's this little awkward, little tiny space there, and it fit a branding strip perfectly. So that's what I did. So that's going to be my base for my layout. Now I turned the camera off, and I took my pattern paper to my sewing machine, and I sewed around each of the patterns. And let me tell you, it is crooked. Because where I have my sewing machine is, I took one of those carts from Michael's that are on wheels, and I put a piece of melamine over the top, and I put my sewing machine on top of there, so the melamine kind of overhangs the cart. And so when I was sewing, of course, I have this cart sits sort of not in the middle of the floor, but up against, the back or the side wall. Well, it was hitting one of my shelves in the back, and I didn't think about pulling out the cart till I was almost done. Not quite, but anyway, so I was like, oh man, just pull the cart away from the wall and then it won't be running into things. And so I was so, concentrated that I didn't notice when it was getting close to my shelf. So then it would hit the shelf and it would go all crooked. But you know what? It adds texture to the background, so I'm okay with it. So I took the mint Avery L, I think it's Avery L ink that came in the kit. It's called Mint to Be. And the Dear Lizzie stamp set that came, or it's a roller stamp. And I'm just stamping all over the place. No rhyme or reason. I'm just switching the saying once in a while. Some of them say happiness is remember when, make time for, and what's the other one? Love. And I'm just going to all the pattern papers and I'm just stamping everywhere. And what's that is doing is creating that extra little texture. And I guess one thing I forgot to say is once all the sewing was done, I took my gesso out and I just added a small layer to the whole background because I knew that I wanted to do some type of inking and I didn't want it to sip into the pattern paper. Like I wanted it to be a little bit more pronounced on the layout. So I put some gesso on it, but a very, very thin coat just so that it would create some texture, so that, like a barrier, so that the ink wouldn't sink into the pattern paper. Okay, so the recording had stopped, so if I repeat myself, I'm sorry. But so anyway, I mounted the photo on my photos on a navy cardstock because I found it didn't pop enough on the page. So with the navy ink, it really popped. Now I'm taking the template that came in the kit. I think it was the color add-on kit, and I used some texture paste that came in a kit a few months back. I think it was October, and I'm almost out. And now I added some gelatos in the color metallic mint. I just kind of squished some gelato on that packaging, added some water, and I added it to the background. And again, between the gesso, the stamping, the texture paste, and now the gelatos, that creates a lot of texture to the background, and I really like that. Now I'm going through my Project Life cards. I had done an exchange almost a year ago with Maureen for some Project Life cards, and I kept hers separate. I have it just on my desk there, and so once in a while, I'll go through them and try to pick one that'll go with my layout. This one here, it says according to me, and that's where I'm going to do my layout. So what I ended up doing is treating every single block like it was a little page, I guess. And by sewing around each of the blocks, it kind of helped that too. So on the bottom block, that's where I'm going to have my journaling. And then I added some puffy stickers, some cork, and some acetate, and some enamel dots. Forgot the name here for a minute. And all this, what I do is usually when it's on the 15th of the month, the hip kits become available to order. And I usually say I want all of them. I think there was only one month that I didn't order everything, and it was because I already had that stuff in my stash. It was the month that it was featuring the eye zinc in the color add-on, and I had every eye zinc except one in my stash. So I thought, well, I'm not going to double what I have in my stash. But what it made me do is that month, it made me take stuff that was from my stash and use it. and now I love iSync. I think I had at that point like 10 colors or 8 colors of them, and I barely had used them. So that's what I love. That's what HipKit to me differs from any other kit is it has the option, if you want, like the main kit is just your papers and embellishment. But if some month you decide that you want to try something different, something that maybe you haven't done before, she has that color add-on that has mixed media stuff. For example, texture paste, some stencils, and some inks. And last month was distress stains. And again, I had distress stains in my stash. I had 12 of them. I had used them before, but it had been a long time since I had played with them. So it made me take them out again and play with them. Actually made me place an order and order more because I realized how much I love playing with them. But, that's a different story. But so that's the, because I have quite a few people ask me, why did you choose to keep the Hip Kit and not the other kit I was subscribed to? And I love the other kit too. I just had to make a choice because I knew that, we were planning on building this summer. So I couldn't get both kits. And then I still like to get a little bit of, I don't order papers anymore and that kind of stuff, but I do get like inks and paints and that kind of stuff. So I wanted to keep money for that stuff. You know what I mean? And I canceled my freckle font and that kind of stuff. But so anyway, that is the main reason. I just love the way everything coordinates. I love that I can bring stuff from another month into the new month, and that it still coordinates. You'll see in the next few layouts, I'm going to bring pattern papers that were from the December kit, and I'm using them with the January kit because it coordinates so well. And I had, I think, 2 full sheets of pattern paper, and I absolutely love them. And I didn't want to give, I didn't want them to sit in my stash because I just love them. And I just thought that I would, say that while I was kind of doing regular stuff, just placing stuff, matting photos. And so now there was these watercolor words, I guess, that came in the color add-on, and they're from Dear Lizzie. And so I picked out Love This and Dream, and that's my title on this page. I didn't put any other title. Again, I put out some gelato, added some water to it, and I colored the words, but I didn't fully color them. I left it so that there is still some white so that they really pop on the back of the layout, so that even though I put that word on the Love This, I put it on a teal and aqua pattern paper, it still pops on the layout. Now I'm just gonna, use some branding strip and add it to the layout and just kind of glue everything down. So while I'm doing that, I just want to mention I have a Facebook group, and the link is always in the description. And it's a scrapbooking Facebook group. And I think there's almost 1,800 ladies. And, we encourage each other to get her done. That's the motto on the Facebook group, is just to get her done. And every month I issue a challenge. And for the month of February, what I issued was, I think a lot of us, when we fall in love with a collection, whether it's Dear Lizzie Serendipity or Dear, Maggie Holmes Open Book, we don't just get the pattern paper and one thing. We usually get the pattern papers and everything that goes with it. So this month, the challenge is to pick one of those collections. I'm gonna do a video on this collection that I choose for my February challenge, and to get as many layouts done as possible. And the reason I did that was because February is the month of love, and I thought, let's pick a collection that we love and we have in our stash and we haven't used, and let's use it up. And the second part of the challenge is to, on one of those layouts, to scrap a layout of your loved ones, whether it's your significant other, your whole family, just someone that you truly, truly love. And So I think that's going to be fun to try to use up one of the collections. So stay tuned for that video. I'm going to be posting it in the next day or so. And I just realized I didn't talk about the photos. This is just camping photos of us around the campfire roasting hot dogs, which my kids love. And that's it. The page is done. So thanks for watching. Bye.